Again? This happened again? I know money is tight in the WNBA dump. I know the high school gyms and community centers they play in aren't exactly known for their state-of-the-art security, but I would assume they at least have some metal detectors. I would assume they are checking fanny packs and masculine purses before allowing people into the gym. You just never know what WNBA fans will try to sneak into the Civic Center. Preparation H, oversized rainbow flags that could block the view of other spectators, or, for the second time this week, a battery-powered cucumber that appears to be of average length and average width. I know some in the media want us to feel sorry for WNBA players. These poor women, this is so barbaric. They just want to entertain family and friends. The other night, Angel Reese performed her patented helicopter layup. The breeze from her lack of athleticism magically removed the weave from her opponent. It was captivating television, but no one appreciates it. It's so sad. I know we are supposed to feel sympathetic to these damsels in distress. Some men in the media want to defend their honor and be their hero. I can be your hero, baby. But Uncle KC is having a hard time feeling bad for the pretend basketball players in the WNBA, mainly because they kind of brought this on themselves. There is not a doubt in my mind. WNBA players want to be taken seriously. The problem is they don't know how to be taken seriously. They don't know how to earn respect. If you have ever been pranked, what is the one thing that you can't do? For example, let's say you're in the cafeteria in high school. There are hundreds of your peers in the cafeteria. You go to sit down with your friends and one of your friends kicks the chair and you fall flat on your ass. How do you respond? These kids in Gen Z LGBT, they probably respond by running to the teacher. Mr. They, them, that meanie kicked my chair and made me fall on my rectum. Can you call one of my mommies? When I was in high school, telling the teacher would have made things significantly worse. Of course, today, the kid who snitched, he would probably be awarded with a Purple Heart along with a participation trophy. But 15, 20 years ago, if you sold a prank like that, if you let people know that it bothered you, you became a target. Instead of selling the prank, instead of crying over your bruised caboose, you should just laugh with everyone else and start plotting your revenge prank. If you no-sell it, if you show it doesn't bother you, it's not likely to happen again. Why? Because it's no fun pranking someone who's unbothered. Earlier this week, in a pretend basketball game between the Atlanta Dreamers and the Golden State Vikings, an ambitious fan threw a brightly colored synthetic wiener on the court. I don't think it was on the actual court. I think it was on the sidelines, but naturally, some WNBA players, they ran away in terror. According to L. Duncan, there is no D allowed in the WNBA. According to my latest copy of the identifier alphabet, there's also no D in LGBT. WNBA players, instead of no-selling the prank, they were outraged. They were pissed off. This is so disrespectful and distasteful and terrifying. Why can't people follow the rules? The signs on the porta potties clearly say no D. Instead of simply laughing it off, WNBA players once again chided and lectured their fan base. So imagine my surprise. Just imagine my surprise when it happened again. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the second channel's in the description below. Later today, maybe tomorrow on the second channel, depending on how I feel, we'll be talking about Major League Soccer, which I was surprised to find out is still in business. Major League Soccer kicked a fan out of the stadium because he was wearing a MAGA hat. Apparently, MAGA hats are no bueno at Major League Soccer games, along with sold-out stadiums. But if you want to wear a rainbow hat, or maybe carry a concealed cucumber, that's acceptable. So if you haven't already, click the link in the description below, subscribe to the second channel. Friday night, while the rest of us were starting our weekends, WNBA players, they were working hard pretending to play basketball. The Dump was presenting an exciting matchup in Chicago. The Golden State Vikings were visiting the slums to play the Chicago Bravado. Listen to some of the star power that was featured in this highly anticipated contest. Veronica Burton, Tiffany Hayes, Rachel Bannum. And who? Are these WNBA players, or are they the unknowns in the primetime lineup at CNN? Well, Casey, what about Angel Reese? She's a huge star! Unfortunately, the Barbie with constantly changing aliases was unable to participate Friday night. Apparently, Bayou Barbie has now become Back Problem Barbie. Angel Reese is unfortunately dealing with a back injury. As you guys know, it has been a physically grueling season for Me-Bound Barbie. She has been carrying the Chicago Bravado all season to an impressive 7-20 record. With the Chicago Bravado getting their ass kicked routinely, it's understandable why Angel Reese would be dealing with back pain. According to ESPN, there were 7,700 people in the Wintrust Civic Center on Friday night. But based on some of the footage I received, there doesn't look to be 77 people in the gym. Maybe WNBA attendance is counted by using the rule of 3, where one person is counted as 300. Now, to be fair and transparent, this footage was shot right before tip-off. I'm sure there were an additional 2 or 3 dozen that showed up once the game actually started. But there is absolutely no way there were 7,700 people at that game Friday night, which is unfortunate because they missed quite the show. The unknown stars in the WNBA, they put on an offensive clinic in Chicago Friday night. Midway through the third quarter, the Bravado were up 39-37. Of course, the lead didn't last very long. The Bravado, they didn't want to break tradition by winning, so they handed the game to the Vikings in the fourth quarter. But no one really cares about the end result. The only thing people are talking about was the gift that was given in the third quarter. Check it out for yourself. Once again, there was a stoppage of play in the middle of a WNBA game. Game had to be stopped so the referee could give a nice kick to the synthetic nuts. The first time this happened earlier this week, it was funny, but now it's just kind of repetitive. But from the WNBA's perspective, this isn't about the cucumber. This isn't about the synthetic wang. This is about the fact that your league is not respected. For starters, when something like this happens, you don't call attention to it. Every once in a while, a fan will run onto the field in an NFL game. You know what the league tells the networks to do? Ignore it. Don't show it on camera. Tell the audience that there was a disturbance and you move on. For the second time this week, not only has the WNBA broadcast the wiener, they also overreact to it. And their pretend friends in the mainstream media aren't doing them any favors. According to USA Today, synthetic wiener on the basketball court, This is a sign of societal degradation. One of the players on the Chicago Bravado, she claimed this was immature and disrespectful. Whoever is doing this, they need to grow up. Now, there are some WNBA players who just laughed it off. A couple of ladies on the Golden State Vikings, they laughed it off the other night during a press conference. But for the most part, WNBA players are complaining about a lack of respect. And the thing is, they're not wrong. The WNBA is not respected. However, what they don't seem to understand, respect is not given. Respect has to be earned. Obviously, people should not be throwing shit on the court or wiener. But the lack of respect, this is a serious problem for the WNBA. If you're not respected, you're not taken seriously. And the reason the WNBA isn't taken seriously is because of the behavior of the players. Think about it. Think about everything that happened last year with Caitlin Clark. Think about what happened during the All-Star break a few weeks ago. The All-Star game is the most watched event of the year in the WNBA dump. And what did they present? They presented a polished turd. Before the game, players were protesting for money they haven't earned. They were demanding to be paid what they're owed. Once the game started, WNBA players went out and proved why they don't deserve million-dollar salaries. The WNBA All-Star Game was an absolute embarrassment. There was no effort. There was damn sure no defense. But KC, it's the same thing in the NBA All-Star Game. Yeah, and the NBA gets shit on every year. But the NBA also has the luxury of being respected. The NBA is taken seriously. You have players in the WNBA publicly complaining about negotiations for a new CBA. You have players negotiating the new CBA that own a rival league, a competitive league. Games are being stopped over wardrobe malfunctions involving weaves. WNBA players are constantly whining and complaining. Just a couple of days ago, players were whining about being booed on the road. They don't want to be criticized. They don't want anything but positive coverage. And they wonder why they're not respected, why they're not taken seriously. Obviously, the WNBA has no control over people throwing wieners on the court, but they do have some control over how they are perceived. This league has made itself a joke. The WNBA has conditioned fans to not take the league seriously. Then they want to complain about not being respected. You tell me, is the WNBA respected? Is the WNBA taken seriously? Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.